Hi, y'all. I am taking a quick break from working at my friend's cafe to do this intro for you because we have another episode of the Lintorious podcast coming to you today on St. Patrick's Day. And I don't know how we planned it like this, but my podcast seems to be dropping on Sundays that have holidays on them, like New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, St. Patrick's Day, etc. But anyway, maybe that's a good sign. So there's lots happening in this podcast, in this episode. We go a little bit closer to the corazon, a little bit closer and deeper into the healing work and, dating, relationships, inner child work, etc. I know that's cheesy to some of you, but it's been working so much for me, and that's why I wanted to share the process with you. Also, this last 5 days has been nuts for me. So I am so exhausted as always, but it's such a good exhausting. And I have updates for you on the podcast for next month. So make sure you stay tuned and make sure you keep up with what's going on with all things Lintorious. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy, and I hope to hear from you. Bye. Episode 15 of the Lintorious podcast. We're back with Jalen White. We're doing this is the juicy episode.
The juicy.
We're talking about the juice. Do you need more whiskey?
I'll have a little. I was trying to make a juice noise with my mouth. That
Joe, when you
felt weird.
Come back, can you bring some whiskey when you're on your way back?
Yeah.
Joe's over there. Our executive producer's having his
time.
Lunch right now.
They understand our needs as guests here.
But okay, so this episode we're gonna get right into it.
Let's get into it.
We're getting into it. Okay, hold on. We bring the whiskey. We're doing it on camera. Oh, Joe, we need you.
He's been drinking.
We need you.
Face it the other way because we can't afford them.
Hold on, put some in my cup.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll get the other one too.
No,
this is good. This is good.
Ooh, that's good. The rest is yours. Go ahead.
Cheers,
Jalen.
Cheers.
Joe, you want a drink?
No.
You don't? Oh, why is he so? Because listen, why are we drinking, y'all? Because guess what? We're gonna talk about dating,
serious things,
the
psychology behind dating,
relationships, things like that, because that's what the world is about: relationships.
Why the
business
deep sigh?
Relationships.
The deep sighs. Told a story.
I'm gonna tell y'all a story. You ready, listeners? Okay, this is a good one. Strap in. Okay, so I've been working on me. Obviously, every woman goes through this shit. You're healing, blah 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 blah.
Amen.
And then sometimes you meet somebody that you're like, oh, you have a crush on him. It's a crush. How cute! I want to rip his clothes off.
Yeah,
it's a crush.
Absolutely, a crush.
And then sometimes you meet one where you're like, oh, I see potential in this person.
Right.
Like we get along, we vibe. I like the person. I can see, and I don't know how to explain it. Like for me, there's some certain types of men where I can use the word vision or whatever. I don't know what it is, but you can see ahead, right? Like this could work out with, and for me, I have so much to think about. My son, my career, who's going to be an asset, who's a liability. So I meet this one boy, and I'm saying boy, but he's like 40.
You can't raise a man.
I finally meet this one guy after a really bad, ugly breakup I had, and I've had a lot of ugly breakups. Why, Lynn? Because trauma.
Yeah.
Have you had ugly breakups?
Oh yeah.
No, my breakups are very ugly. Let me say this: I am always blocked.
I'm blocked from the last couple of two.
You really? I am always blocked. And before, okay, there were times when I was blocked because I'd just be okay. Let me tell you this. This last one that I had a really ugly situationship breakup with, he brought his new chick to the club that we always performed at together, and we always hung out. Okay? My healed highest self would have been like, it's fine. It's fine, you know, whatever. But this is the chick that he started, oh, I like her now, whatever, right after or whatever. So then what did I do? I tried to get on that lineup. I was like, can I get on this lineup? And they're like, no, it's an LGBT show. I was like, well, fuck.
You did better than me because I would have lit the backside of the club on fire.
Right.
And then I would have been like, but I'm queer.
No, but this is what I did though, Jalen. Joe, you're going to love this. I drove over to the club. After them telling me I can't be on the lineup. I was, well, fuck. And I left a note on his car. And it said, if you complain, I was like, how are you going to bring your new auntie over here? She was like in her 50s. I'm so terrible. I was like, why'd you bring your new auntie to the club that we had good memories at? And I was like, and you talk shit about this club, so why are you performing here like a desperate little bitch?
This is so passive aggressive. I left a note on his car.
Like a desperate little...
Respectfully.
Like a desperate little bitch. I was like, go perform somewhere else. There's a bunch of fucking clubs in LA. What are you doing here? You know what I mean? Don't talk shit about a club and come over here, blah, blah. And then I didn't even sign my name, but he knew who it was from. Anyway.
Of course.
He brought that fucking note into the club to the booker, like the owners and stuff. And the owners, they like me.
Yeah.
I make the money. So they're like, oh, sorry, we don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, and they were telling me like his hands were shaking. He was like so pissed and scared and everything else. And I was like, I am 5'2". I am not doing nothing else but leave this note. And how are you gonna get that scared?
Well, listen, Griselda Blanco was your height.
Griselda! Oh my God, I love that show. Sofia
was so
Vergara
good.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Damn, you know what?
Blew me away.
You know what that taught me? Is that you got to have rich fans. Because she learned how to sell to rich people.
Yeah.
And that's how she made her money.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's one of my unhealed trauma behaviors.
But that was nice.
Was it nice though?
That was nice. I would have bust up in the club.
You would have busted up in the club?
I would have walked up to the microphone, to the stage, interrupted the comment on stage. I just want to point out this bitch with this old ass lady in here.
With his auntie up in here.
He and his grandmother don't deserve to be here.
It was terrible. And you know what, that new auntie, that new woman was like an HR type lady, so different from me. And she's Korean. I'm so sorry, Koreans, if you're listening. But I used to be like, why don't you stay home and eat Korean barbecue? Which
low-key is threatening him with a good time.
I was terrible, but he was also terrible. But again, I'm a firm believer that we create things ourselves. So I created that environment. But here's what. I blamed and I say this a lot, that I used to blame myself a lot. But now I'm like, no, it took two.
Yeah.
It takes two to tango with everything. So you had your shit too. And what bothers me is when men don't take accountability for their part. You ain't the victim. Stop that shit. Like, I don't like it when, like, you're not the victim.
Yeah. No.
Like, you have a part in all of this.
Yeah.
You did not handle it correctly. I didn't handle it. We both did, you know? And it's like, have some responsibility. What the hell? Don't just make me the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I think two things can be true. Like, a lot of people sit from the point of view of like, life is happening to me. Things are happening to me. So they absolve themselves from having to take responsibility. And on the flip side, I love that quote. You know how when people are like, you are what you attract? I don't believe that. I believe you attract what you're able to keep. So if I keep negative or toxic patterns and I hold on to that, then that's me. Now, if I attract something that might not be worth my while and I move away from it, I don't keep it, that says more about me. But if I stay in the shit with you know what I mean? If I go through the ebbs and the flows, but I've already seen all your red flags, then that must mean I have a lot of red flags also.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
When we were talking about it, like, everybody's got red flags.
Absolutely.
Everybody has red flags. It just depends on what red flags you want to work through and deal with.
Yeah.
Because we all got inner demons.
Yeah.
We all have inner demons, and really, a couple is two people's inner demons that play well together.
Yeah, literally.
Like, you just play well together, and you
Yeah.
understand each other's inner demons, and then you work through that.
Yeah.
Right? If your inner demons don't play well, then it's like it
Yeah.
explodes, right? But okay, so that's just talking about the unhealed shit that I was going through.
Downhill
Okay.
shit.
So then I meet this. So because of that bad breakup, I was like, nah, I'm not into
Yeah.
anything. And then I meet this guy who I was interested in, and I did not understand that I need to just be and just let the dude be the dude. Like, I need to just, and it doesn't, not, that's not to say that I have to be more feminine or I have to be more girly
Right.
or whatever it is. It's just me, just be myself, but then
exactly
just be
who you are.
right.
Yeah.
But just be right. And then I have to understand also, I'm not basic. So
By far.
most men are not going to understand how to handle or deal with me or whatever it is. But just because I'm not basic and they don't know how to handle me doesn't mean I have to think it's my fault.
Right.
Is where I needed to learn, you know? So instead of the man saying, we're missing something in our communication.
Okay.
Right? We're missing something in our communication. I don't understand if what I'm saying is not coming through to you,
Yeah.
or I don't understand what you're saying, but something's missing. Instead of them doing that, they just block me. Do you know what I'm saying? Just say, you don't understand me.
Well, I also think we're living in a time where social media is kind of feeding people, and age doesn't matter in this regard because we're all consuming the same shit, right? I think social media is feeding people the moment that you face something, whether it's in life or in a relationship that you don't like or that is offensive, you cancel it, you turn it off, you remove yourself, you ghost yourself from it, versus facing it head on, addressing it, acknowledging it,
Right.
seeing what part you play in that. I think we're being fed to just like remove ourselves, or we don't understand the difference between something that's purely negative versus something that is maybe confusing,
Right.
or something we don't understand. And so I think that men these days, or not even men, just people in general, are very so much like, you offended me, you have to go away, or I have to remove myself from
Right.
you, versus being like, well, let's talk about this offense, and then better yet, let me take a step further and be like, why am I even so offended?
Yeah.
You know.
Look at your, okay, this guy, I said, you know, every time I talk to you, I don't feel like you acknowledge what I'm saying. I don't feel acknowledged. And he, you know, and here's the thing: when you're not on the same page, in terms of feelings and interests and stuff, of course, it's always gonna be, your communication's never gonna, it's always
Right.
gonna miss. Okay, so we just weren't on the same page. So, but I said, just, you know, I don't feel acknowledged, and he didn't acknowledge the fact that I said I don't feel acknowledged. So I said, you see, I talked about all this, and you still didn't acknowledge me.
Yeah.
Do you know what this man said? That's too much for me. That's something you say to a therapist. What?
Like you were talking about your whole life.
I said what? But also I do over communicate because of
Same.
whatever, because I feel the need to explain myself. But it doesn't work when the person can't comprehend fast enough.
Yeah.
So he wasn't processing everything I was saying fast enough, and to him it was a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because I could say some things to you right now and you're like, oh, I get all of that because I do the same work.
Yeah.
But to him, it's like, what?
yeah.
What trauma? What do you mean acknowledge? That's a big word, acknowledge.
Yeah. No, I absolutely understand that, because I feel like when I enter into relationships, I have a huge personality. You know what I mean? That a lot of parts of it feel authentic to me, and then I understand what size of it is performative, right? And why I do what I do. And just because of the type of background, childhood that I have, like, a lot of me having a big personality is survival. You know what I mean? So it has kept me safe in a lot of
Yeah.
aspects. And so when I date men, they're looking for this Susie homemaker, this quiet, reserved individual that I am not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or there's this notion of, once you come see me perform, And it's just like whether I do well or good, there's this overwhelming sense of like people want to talk to me after the fact. People want to interact. People want to be around me. That's going to lead me to my next thing. It's not like a one-off kind of thing. And so it's just this notion like that I live in this fast kind of track lane. And that's not necessarily the case, but I used to overcompensate. And then so I would be like, I'm not going to perform as much. Or I won't do that because maybe that just is a hobby because he has a regular 9 to 5 and that's what he wants his career path to be. And so I'm too much for him. When I come around, I won't talk as much. I'll be more demure and quiet, and that eats away at me. And I've gotten to a point where if I'm just a psychopath,
that is what it is. You just gonna have to deal with
that's
it.
what I mean. And you can't label me until I cut somebody up.
And they're so quick to label. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, just because you don't understand someone or how they are doesn't make them psycho or crazy or whatever it is. It's just, you just don't understand. Just say that. Just go, I don't understand this person. I don't know where they're coming from. And then you have to decide, do I want to know where they're coming from or do I not?
That's a choice that's left up to them.
Right. And if you don't want to know where they're coming from, then peacefully part ways.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in knowing what you're, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What all of this is.
Yeah. Or I get like, you talk too much. Did you not meet me while I was on stage fucking talking?
You talk too much.
My daddy's a preacher. My mom's a therapist. Talking is my gift.
It is. And let me live my damn gift.
Let me live my life. You know, but so I understand sometimes when people are disinterested in having to do that extra work for you, but the realization is because they're not interested in doing that work for themselves, the same compassion that you're hoping that they're going to show you, they haven't yet shown themselves. So it's just like you in healing and working on yourself, you're showing yourself patience, compassion, you're investing, you're pouring into yourself, you're exploring those areas of you that are unlikable or that you don't even understand. But most people are not interested in doing that with somebody else just because they haven't done it with themselves.
Right.
You know?
And most people don't do it themselves because you know what? It's hard work.
Right. And
it's hard work.
And maybe the guy that said that about, that's who you say that to a therapist. Maybe it's because he recognizes there's something in him that relates to that or resonates with him, and he needs to go say that thing to a fucking therapist.
Because he wasn't ready. He just wasn't. And some people are just not ready for you.
Yeah.
And I've learned. And then in the beginning when we first started recording this podcast, I was telling Joe, "Oh, Joe, you know what? I realized that I needed to be more feminine because men like feminine." Joe's like, "What?"
Yeah.
But
like, what is that?
now, months later, here, I'm like, I just need to be me.
You just need to be Lynn. Yeah.
The fuck? More feminine or whatever. There's men out there who don't need me to be more feminine. And that's the kind of man, Eminem don't need me to be more feminine.
she's gonna throw this white black man into the conversation every chance she get.
Eminem will just love me for being my badass self.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to say. For men, that's all you have to say. Listen, I can't handle this woman. That's it. It doesn't make you less of a man. It doesn't emasculate you or whatever. It's just, that is what it is. You need someone softer. That's all.
Yeah. Because these are all social constructs. Like as far as femininity, masculinity, when we talk about mental health and wellness, these are all ideas and constructs that we've put together to be able to identify ourselves with, right? Or whatever. And I just think that as long as you're actively working on who you are and who you want to be, like you said, when you're in a relationship, you have vision for the man and the relationship, but as long as you lead with vision for yourself at all times, like the right person is going to be like, this meets my vision, right? You know, and this is what I want to be in. Like, I don't have to be like, are you more masculine? Are you more feminine? Are you loud? Are you quiet? Are you funny? Are you serious? No, you just get to be. And no matter what you bring to the table, I like the shit that you bring to the table, and I want to eat because it's you. Right. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, the difference in what real love is. When we talk about unconditional love, I think people live or love from a very conditional space. And something that I've understood, grown to understand, is everybody has a very different concept of love.
Of course, yeah.
And I think that guides the way a lot of people date.
Yes, because some people don't have the capacity to love big. Some people don't, they just don't have it.
Yeah.
Right? Like there was a guy that always told me, I just don't have it. I can't go any further. They just meet their limit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it bad. It just
Yeah.
means we just don't have the same limit.
Yeah, like I'm not responsible for what your limit is.
Yeah,
You
we just it just didn't match because I can love very big.
But that's because you're a mother.
Right, but even before that,
Yeah.
I was able to love very big because I was very open, and But a lot of time, but then if I'm dating a man who can only love this much,
Yeah.
no matter what, because he hasn't done his work or whatever, it's very unfair or very uneven, right?
Yeah.
But there was a point in my life where I felt so unlovable.
Same.
And I was like, I'm so unlovable. I'm so hard to love, hard to be with. It's so difficult. But I'm not, though.
No.
We're not hard to love and hard
Right.
to, you know what I mean?
And I think to go through that phase is necessary because even saying something out loud like that is vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think vulnerability is the greatest gift that you can not only give yourself, but somebody else in
Yeah.
your space, whether it's friends, family, or whatever. And I think this notion of like, maybe there are characteristics or ways about me that are not unlovable, but unlikable,
Mm-hmm.
or disagreeable. And so is this something like, I'm just never going to be a Trump supporter. So I'm not going to support you in your Proud Boy shit, sir. So that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the cutoff. But am I argumentative?
right.
That's something I can work on. So maybe we can decide you're a Proud Boy, so I'm never going to support you, but I'll say hello to you in the alleyway. You know what I mean?
Would you date a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not. But I had a sugar daddy that was a Trump supporter.
That's
and
different,
and
though.
that was hard for me. Yeah, but I was getting money, so he could spin me
That's
around
right.
and slap my ass, and it'd be okay. Make America great again, because you making my Chase account great again. But
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But like certain things like that, where I'm just kind of like, I can acknowledge for me now in having those uncomfortable talks with myself, like I'm unlovable.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the aspects of me that are not going to come across for everybody or be widely accepted, and things that I could work on versus being like, but this is just who I am. This is just me. This is non-negotiable. And that's just what it is. And making peace with that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's been hard to do because I think, especially with what we do in stand-up, you want to be liked. You know what I mean? And I think in relationships, we all want that. We want to be loved and accepted and embraced. And the reality is, dating is like finding a good therapist. You have to keep trying and trying and trying until you find someone who fits
You
for
find
you.
somebody who fits.
You know?
And then hopefully you don't sabotage that shit.
Hopefully you don't sabotage that.
Hopefully you've worked on yourself enough where if you're about to sabotage it, you pick
Can
up on it.
recognize it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing right now, and you can communicate that with your
Yeah.
partner, and your partner can understand that kind of language.
Yeah.
Because then he'll just say, that's something you say to a therapist.
Yeah. That man was an asshole. That's what that was. Because he needs to go to therapy and say a lot of that shit to his therapist.
to his therapist. But what were you saying? Dang, I had something to say with that.
Just
Anyway, keep
about
going.
kind of like taking responsibility and like being able to have those, when you start having those uncomfortable conversations, I don't think
I
they
had
come
something
up
to
for
say
no
about-
reason. Because I went through that phase of like, I'm unlovable. My relationships, they keep not working. I keep dealing with the same thing.
I know what I was gonna say now. You know what I
Right.
learned, and I know to some of y'all who your parents loved. this segment's not for you because you don't relate to none of this. But for some of us, I just learned. I just learned that what's important in the relationship besides money is is me feeling loved. Me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going, I'm not lovable and I'm hard to love and all that stuff. But what about me, though?
Yeah.
I need to feel loved, too. And for whatever reason, I was dating men who I didn't feel loved by.
Yeah.
But I just kept going back and pursuing it and, wanting it to work out because, again, daddy
Yeah.
stuff and whatever. And that's all I knew love was hurt and pain, right? So then that's what I kept going after.
Yeah.
But now, just like last week or whatever, I was like, wait, I need to feel loved.
Yeah.
And that's the important part. Like, if I don't feel loved, why am I still here?
Yeah.
And if I communicate with you how I like to feel loved and how you can show me, like I was saying in the first episode, like, my love language is holidays. I like celebrating holidays.
I love that.
So if you can't celebrate holidays, this not gonna work out because then I'll never feel loved on a holiday. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. I mean, I see. I resonate with that because I used to be like that very thing that I'm seeking in other people. I need to give to myself first. So that love that I'm seeking, when people, because like I said, people have different ideas or variations for how they view love, how they love, how they know how to love, how they receive love. And so I have to be thorough in my own love language first. So I have to do it for me.
Right.
And then once I do it for me and you come along, I can be like, no, that's not it for me. I can call it early because it's just kind of like, I don't think I have the capacity to love you in the way that you desire, and you don't have the capacity to love me in the way I desire. And I love, like your verbiage, I desire to love in a very big way.
Yeah.
That's incredibly unconditional.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I need to be spoiled.
Yeah.
Because I spoil.
Yeah.
You know, like my friends know I'm generous and I spoil y'all and I like,
Yeah.
you know, as much as I can. So it's like, but I want that.
Yeah. Like my current partner, his love language is like acts of service. And at first that was intimidating because I thought that was like monetary. Like I thought I had to buy gifts and shit like that. And then my love language is touch. So and then some or quality time. So some people would be like, oh, I gotta suck his dick again. You know, some people
Well, yes,
assume.
but-
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna stop you.
But
I feel
there's
most
more.
loved. No, I'm playing.
My love language is sucking my dick.
but and then he started to realize, like, I just like simple affection.
Yeah.
Like you rub your foot against mine. You
Yeah,
touch
yeah.
me while you're driving.
Aw.
Me, like in his love language, like he's gonna iron my work clothes or like
That's
pack me a
sweet.
lunch. And so for me, we just try to meet each other in that middle. What can I do for him? I mean, how do you show acts of service with somebody that folds all of their bags at the same the same way every time and stacks everything, but when you see something out of place, put it back in the way that he wants to put back?
Aw, and
or
he's
like,
like, "Ooh."
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
little things like that, just learning versus making this assumption, like, because I used to be like, I don't have the capacity to love you, nigga. I mean, excuse me, sir. How you want me to love you? I don't have what it takes.
Right.
And I've been in a relationship where a man was like, my love language, I don't know, it's love language, but I want you to have threesomes and I want to be a voyeur and I want to watch. And I'm like, I want to be desired. I don't mind being desired by all men, but I want one man.
Right,
You know
right,
what I
right,
mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so that was hard for me and raised some self-esteem issues for me because I was almost willing to oblige by his way of doing things. And I realized, no, it's about how I love myself.
Yeah.
And how I welcome love and how
Right.
I'm willing to give it back, and just finding somebody that matches that way with me.
Dude, seriously. It's all in here, y'all.
Yeah.
It's all in
It's
here.
so cliche. And it's just
so
like,
cliche and so corny.
we've been hearing this
That's
shit
what it
since
is.
kindergarten.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Everybody loves to share. Treat people how you want to be treated. And as you get older, that sounds like some bullshit.
But you know what? Treating people how you want to be treated, I like to be left alone.
Don't talk to
So-
me. I
no.
like silence.
My love. Oh man, that's why we traveled together. Remember we were talking about it.
So low
we
maintenance.
we can be silent the whole time.
We probably
and it'll
had
be okay.
one fancy eating moment.
And that was it. We just ate Olive Garden. Like it was so easy. Olive Garden. We just
That was the best meal we
it
had
was
had.
so good. But okay, you know what? What was I gonna say?
I'm good for taking us off.
Oh, you know what? Taking us off where?
Cheating?
Oh, we are going to talk about that, but let me say one more thing. You know how I was doing my 100-pound fat suit social
Yeah.
experiment? Okay, so I was doing that, right? Because in my head, I used to give myself this excuse. Every time a relationship didn't work out, I would blame it on my weight, right? I would be like, oh, it's because I'm not hot. But I know the thing is, I've always been hot. Like, I've always
Period.
had sex appeal. Like,
Period.
I've always just had that in me. But how did I didn't make $200-300 a hand job because I wasn't hot. You get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't work out that way.
Or she had hot ass hands.
My hands are like little sausages, see? But anyway, so I used to blame that I used to blame everything on my weight. And as long as I had that weight, I had something to blame. That's why it's not working out. That's why I'm not getting booked. That's why I'm not as successful, right? But it wasn't about the weight. It was about how I feel about me.
Yeah.
Because look at Lizzo.
Yeah.
She don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, she's Lizzo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? So once I started doing that inner work, I was like, I feel beautiful just being whatever size.
Yeah.
You know? And of course, it's about the health too.
Right.
But besides that, it's like now I don't really, it's like the weight has nothing to do with him leaving me or staying or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and I ultimately think like you're gonna ultimately attract the right man. I think timing is also everything. Yeah, he fucking better.
And do you know why I'm saying this, ladies? And
she's generous, so he better be rich.
Yeah, no, but for the ladies who are like, because my Mary Rich content on social media doesn't do as well. And I think it's because women think what I'm saying is for me to be stay at home and, you know, like no money and he has all the money. I mean, great, that too. But also I'm saying I want someone who's going to be equally as successful.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to make my own money for sure. But I don't want to raise you. I don't want to freaking pay for your shit.
Yeah, I think it's about somebody coming along and having as much success as you, if not more, but celebrating and encouraging what you do and what you have, and then being like, and baby, I can cover the rest.
I can cover the rest.
To make you feel safe.
Right.
You know, in that. And I think that that's the goal. And I think it's coming in time. I think anytime you are centered on healing, because I think that is the thing that blocks us the most from living the type of lives that we want to live, is when you can't let go of the shit that happened to you as a child or as a teenager. And not that you should forget, but not work through it or be able to process it. I think that hinders us in so many aspects, whether it's your career, your passion, or relationships, friendships, love, or familial. I think that it does the same thing over and over. And as long as you're, which I see in your walk, that you're committed to not only healing, but growing yourself, working on yourself, being a great mother, working and growing as a mother. I think that as long as you're committed to that, you're going to bring or attract to you exactly what you deserve, whether if that's $5,000 a week or whether or 15
or a million,
or you know what I mean, or a man
or
that's
Eminem.
A millionaire, or Eminem.
The whitest black man. No, the blackest white man. What is it?
The blackest white man we know. But like but that's going to, but I feel like that's going to all come in time. But I really firmly believe it's going to come as a result of that inner work.
I know, it really will. I mean? And I feel it already changing. You know what? This is going to be deep.
Yeah.
It's going to be heavy. I'm going to talk about it though. So, we all know I'm very open about how I was abused as a kid. And it took me a long time to admit that I was abused because he didn't always hit me. But it only takes once for him to hit a child. Yeah. Okay. And I used to see him hit my mom. Okay. And when I was like Ethan's age, I would see him beating my mom, and she would be so. There was one time when he was like beating my mom, and I watched. And my brother, who was only like 2 or 3 at the time, was like crying, right? And my mom, while being hit, she was comforting my brother while being hit. So, oh my God, I'm getting teary-eyed. Yeah. But so she would say, "Oh, it's okay, you know, don't cry, mommy's okay." And my brother was like screaming and crying, and I'm just standing there like paralyzed, right? So then you don't know what to do when you're a kid, and then when you watch that, you're like, but I thought my parents love each other. Yeah. So then why is he beating on her like that, right? Yeah. So, and that has stayed in my mind forever. It still affects me, as you know. Yeah. And then there was a time when my thanks, Joe. Oh, see, producers. And there was a time when I was like Ethan's age, like 7, and we had housemates, and my dad would he hit me in front of the housemates, and it was like hella embarrassing, right? Like, it was in the kitchen, and I remember I was wearing a cute poofy dress, and we were gonna go to a wedding, but he, you know, whatever, he started smacking me around, and I was gonna slip, and I had to hold on to the oven door to not slip. So those things are my memories of a man who's supposed to love me and supposed to protect me and whatever. So of course in relationships I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to protect me. Anyway, but what the powerful thing is, I did a meditation where I went back to those times and I rewrote it.
Word.
So I went back to those times and I thought to myself, how would it be if in that moment my dad was angry, but he knelt to my level and he looked at me and said, Daddy's not happy right now.
Yeah.
And it's not you. I'm just very upset. And then if he hugged me and if he was loving to me.
And what
and
that
if
would do for you.
that would have done for me, right?
Yeah.
Or the times where he was hitting my mom, like if he had instead talked to her and I saw that they talked to each other and I saw that he had a healthy communication with her.
Yeah.
And I rewrote that in my meditation and that really gave me a breakthrough.
I love that.
So you can do that. And
Yeah.
so then you're like, oh man, that your whole being just changes. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Now you would see relationships
Yeah.
differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for so much for sharing that with all of us, with me, with Joe. I in a similar fashion, like we're about to trauma bond. In a similar fashion, like growing up, my dad was both a preacher and a crackhead simultaneously at the same time.
Damn,
and so,
that's crazy.
Right. So talent. And so I spent a lot of my childhood under freeway passes, bridges, in tents on the street, homeless people, where I had to have truck stops, being left at truck stops. You know what I mean? So I had this always, my personality, me running off at the mouth has always saved me. You know what I mean? So I resonate with this ideal of when you see a relationship, a marriage. My parents were married for 17 years. They got a divorce when I was in the 7th grade. So they were married, obviously, before I was born. And they had, my dad was abusive. He was violent, and then he was a cheater. So he always had, because he was in the streets, so it was always prostitutes and stuff like that. And so I was raised with this notion of when you watch a woman in that setting be resilient, it teaches you as a child that, oh, love hurts. So it's supposed to hurt for it to be real. You know what I mean? And then for her, it was real because she bore children from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always kind of came up with this notion of like, if it's too easy, right? Because now as you get older, you look for the ease, right? That's what you want, ease.
Yes.
But and then you find things that are easy and flow, and you're like, this isn't real.
Right.
This isn't real. There's no way. So I have to upset it or sabotage it, or he's going to sabotage it. And so that's why I even believe that, as we were going to go into cheating for our next phase, I even believe that that's where that could come in, because I think some people have sex addictions and that's why they cheat. But then I think that sometimes infidelity forms out of a place of inadequacy. And so something's missing that's under address or not discussed. And so I feel like I would have, like earlier me would have moments in dealing with cheating, and being on the flip side of cheating is coming from this space of like, for me personally, I'm like, I'm sabotaging this. Because it's just like, I don't believe this is real because it doesn't hurt enough.
Right.
You know, and then when it does hurt, after he cheats on me or slaps me around or whatever, I'm kind of like, let me keep chasing him.
Isn't that what we, because that's what we saw. That's ingrained in our little baby brains.
So I definitely resonate with that. And then just like realizing that Anyala Van Zant, she needs to come back to our TV screens. But she used to like say this thing to like people that had fucked up parents and their parents would be in an equation and trying to do the work with them. She would say, you need to understand your mother's story as a woman, and you need to understand your father's story as a man, and you need to tell them your story as a man and a woman. And I think that in me beginning to understand my mother's story as a woman, what led her into that relationship, the childhood experiences that kept her in that relationship, that made me look at her as not like weak, or a pushover. It also made me, when I started to understand my dad's story a little bit, and I'm still waiting for him to tell me at first hand, I know it's second hand, third hand, but like it started making me looking at him like, but he's just a man. He's a mere man. And also like, he had a specific skill set, a tool set that he was given. So he didn't know how to be a father. He didn't know how to be a husband. It wasn't modeled before him. He needs to acknowledge that. You know what I mean? But in me recognizing that, it's just like, okay, this is where I break this cycle and way of being. Love doesn't have to hurt. Is it always easy? Maybe not, but it doesn't have to hurt me. It doesn't have to take everything. Yeah, it doesn't have to take everything for me.
Bus. Yeah,
exactly. Like, I mean, if the fucking Ferris wheel stops, you're going to want to get off that motherfucker. You're not going to be like,
another round. One more round.
I've been stuck 6 hours. Let's do it again. You know,
I like this pain.
Right? You know what I mean?
But Jalen, you've been in an abusive relationship?
Yeah.
You have?
My earliest gay relationship, he was whooping my ass. And I was letting him do it. I also wasn't sexually active during the time, but he was a gangbanger.
Wow.
He was in the hood. He knew my cousin was a gangbanger. He didn't know that was my cousin. He saw me with my cousin, so he just saw me experience closeness with another guy, straight man that's from his hood. So he associated, well, is that guy DL too? Are you fucking on him? You know what I mean? And he whooped my ass.
In front of everybody?
No, not in front of everybody.
Oh.
But he did it like privately. He whooped my ass.
And then you stayed with him?
For a little bit.
Yeah.
And still to this day, people will never know that young man was having gay relationships back then.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He just is who he is. Woman, children, living his best life. Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But I endured that, and it's like, for what? But at the time, I didn't see myself any past that. You know what I mean? And then I also had jaded views towards being gay, so I didn't know what it meant to be in a healthy gay relationship. I mean, the way I was raised, I was taught that I was going to be gay, get AIDS, and die.
But you were out at the time when you were dating him? You weren't out? So you were both in the closet dating?
And him deeper than me. I think people would see me sashay into a room, and, I wouldn't know what was going on. but I think for him, it was much different.
Yeah.
For him, he had more to lose. Yeah.
And people still don't know until today. Wow, and you didn't even out him or nothing.
No, never.
Such a good person.
I know, I should stop. Stay tuned for my tell-all book.
But have you been cheated on?
Oh, yeah.
You've been cheated on?
Most of my relationships.
Really?
And that's why I understand cheating as being, it can come from an inadequacy, something that's not spoken or communicated, versus there are sex addicts, or, inadequacy could mean you're just fucked up. You got daddy issues, mommy issues that you ain't worked through, and so you can't commit, right? So I see it as that. But I've been cheated on most of my relationships, but then I had to stop instead of being like, this is just happening to me, and I'm a victim, and he's cheating. He's cheating on me, and let me tear his TV up, bust the windows out his car, slash his tires. I got tired of doing that.
Okay.
Your knife goes dull after a while.
I can't even kill this motherfucker.
Yeah, But after a while, I started to be like, well, after me finding a reason not to trust him, I become a nag. And a nag is the most unattractive thing to be, even though he's earned it.
Right.
But now I'm a nag. I'm too cute and young for that. So now he hates me. He doesn't even like me. You know what I mean? So he continues to cheat, and it's just like, I'm not realizing while nagging him, while constantly being on his head about shit, because I'm angry, I'm also withholding sex. I'm also emotionally choosing not to be vulnerable. And then I'm going into my next relationship for good reason. But then I carry all of that into my next relationship. Now I'm not vulnerable. Now I'm withholding sex. Now I'm not being as open as I typically would be because I was just hurt in the last one. So he cheats on me again.
So you're carrying all this,
baggage from one relationship.
But have you ever cheated?
Yeah.
You have? Like a lot, or just like one time?
Just like once or twice. I haven't been. It's been done to me too many times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How would you find out when they cheat? How do you find out?
Typically for me, I always got like a gut feeling. And that gut feeling would be like something has changed in his energy and how he treats me and how he talks to me. And so now I'm going to peruse. The motherfucker,
we going to become a detective.
He done got drunk and left his phone unlocked. How dare him?
He wanted me to try. He's inviting me.
That was the invitation. And so that would happen. One time, one of my most recent times, I was trying to play a Twitter video. This guy I was dating said he didn't have a Twitter. And I was trying to play a Twitter video on my phone that wouldn't load. So I airdropped it to his computer desktop. And it opened up, signed in Twitter. He didn't have a Twitter.
Oh, no.
So now I'm watching my video, and then I realize I'm signed in. So now I start perusing like any good scholar or somebody that's curious.
Any good detective would
you know, somebody that loves information.
Yeah.
And I discovered he had a whole freak Twitter, and he was posting his own like private videos and videos with his exes and DMing people. And I waited in the night for him to come home from work in his living room. No lights on, TV off, no music playing, with a cigarette lit. You know what I mean? And he came in, and I confronted him, but then I still stayed.
What did he say for you to stay?
I didn't know that this would hurt you.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that this would hurt you?
Yeah, and then I had my best friend on the phone at the time because I was like, girl, I'll stab him. So stay on the phone.
Right.
And something he said was, I didn't know that you wanted to be exclusive. And I was like, I thought when we said we was boyfriends.
I thought boyfriend meant exclusive.
That's what I thought. I wouldn't have claimed you.
What?
Yeah.
But you were young, too.
Well, this happened a few years ago.
Oh, okay. That's still young.
Yeah.
That's like 25.
Yeah. But I knew better. I knew better by this point.
So what do you think it is that has people or yourself or whatever want to stay with someone after they cheat? Is it like, I believe in this person? Is it we're used to being heard? Is it what is it?
I think it's a little bit of it, we're used to being heard, or maybe for people who have daddy problems, it's like I'm used to a level of disappointment from a man. And then I also think it's a level of, like I said or previously, like I think this notion of like love is supposed to hurt for it to be real.
Yeah.
So, and especially when you listen to old couples that have been married for like 50 years, like you latch onto the it always wasn't easy without hearing what that meant for them. Right. So you just hear that and you're like, oh, well, we're supposed to have all these ups and downs, but these ups and downs shouldn't necessarily be you cheated on me and you had a baby on the side. Like that shouldn't be the ups and downs.
Can do that.
he used to beat me 20 years ago, but then he stopped.
But,
you know,
man,
it shouldn't be that, you know.
Yeah. Do you go ahead.
No, yeah.
Do you think that if they had sex with a prostitute, is that cheating?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So even if they pay for it, it's cheating?
Yeah.
Is it... No, but is it... What if they're like, I had no emotions, I just slept with them?
I think that makes it worse.
I mean, it's still cheating, but is it worse than I also love the person? Or like what?
I mean, to me, it's semantics, right? Because I always considered emotional cheating to be slightly as worse. You know what I mean? Because it's a level of involvement that I can compete with versus like a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think what's concerning about the one and done kind of thing, where it's just sexual, no emotions. Excuse me. Sorry, it's the whiskey. It'll make one feel like, well, what is it about me? Like if you were living out your inner slut, you know, with that person or pay for it or whatever, what is it about me that you don't want to explore yourself sexually or be that vulnerable sexually with me? You have to go seek it out elsewhere.
Yeah.
Now, something emotional, then it's just you don't want to exist here. And I can own that and acknowledge it. I think for me, my breaking point was always what was emotional versus what was just like that one and done thing.
Yeah.
I'm more prone to be more forgiving with the one and done kind of just sexual, no emotion kind of thing.
Right.
But if you're involved and that person's telling you good morning every day, you done paid a bill, you need to go pay bills over there and wake up next to them and say good morning.
Could you be in a relation? Well, before that, I've never been cheated on because I'm very mean.
I think
because I'm just mean up front, so they think I'm gonna like fucking cut off their dick. But also, I've cheated.
Okay.
I have cheated when I was 18. Me and my ex broke up, and then I got with this rebound. Mm-hmm. I cheated on the rebound with my ex.
Well, that's okay. That don't count. It's okay. That's okay.
Counts.
That's why. I mean, that's why we call them rebounds.
Yeah. But I told the rebound, because I wanted to break up with him. So I told him that I cheated, thinking he's going to say, I'm done with you. But he was like, it's okay, I forgive you. What?
No, yeah, because the rebound sees the vision. You know, they see it.
He saw it, and I was
The
like,
rebounds
no,
are the best guys ever.
No, I know, but he was. So I cheated one time, but now I think if I wanted to cheat on someone, I would have that difficult conversation and just say, I'm getting feelings of wanting to cheat on you. So that means there's something that we need to. There's something missing.
Yeah.
There's something that we need to figure out because, you know.
Could you handle that kind of conversation though? Like not you being that person, but you being on the receiving end of
I feel like I want to cheat on you.
Yeah. How would you
it
feel?
It would hurt, but I think I'd rather him tell me that than actually
just doing
cheat.
it. Yeah.
You know?
That's how I am. Like,
and if anybody cheats on me, make sure first that I'm healed because you will die. Make sure first that I've been done a lot of work. And I'm gonna be my best self when you tell me this.
Yeah, make sure the night that I become privy to it, park your car around the corner, because it will be undrivable.
And I'm telling you right now, Jalen, if you ever get a text from me that says I need bleach, that means a motherfucker died.
Yeah.
And that's my code.
No, yeah, if I tell you to go get a box of contractor trash bags from Home Depot, you know some shit is up.
I'll be like, where are we burying it? Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. We got it. We're gonna do it.
No, I know a couple of places.
Would you be able to be in a relationship with a wealthy man who you know wasn't loyal, but he let you spend unlimited amounts of money?
Could I cheat on him too?
Well, first of all, can you be with him still? Second of all, would you cheat on him too?
Well, I have a lot of conditions, like for something like this. Number one, if he's wealthy and he's unloyal, do I still have to sexually engage with him? If yes, do we use protection when we do that? Because that would be the thing. I need to use protection with you, buddy, because you're fucking around. Mm-hmm. And then two, can I get my lick back when I feel like it?
Right. Can you cheat on him too?
So can I cheat on him too?
Would you do it even if you didn't tell him? Would you cheat on him too? You're like, well, he's.
I mean, if he's cheating and I'm aware of it, then
you're gonna do it too.
Then yeah, and then
it's kind of understood. You just both don't say anything.
And then I want to have a dynasty moment in a nice ball gown where I'm like, "That's why I'm cheating on you too, Ted." Ted.
He said cat. Ted.
I feel like his name would be Ted or Bob or Kevin.
Because I feel like a lot of women, when they're dating like a Tiger Woods, you know, remember Tiger Woods? So. If I was his wife, I would know he was fucking around.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, that's not going to be like, oh, really?
I knew he was cheating the moment he said he wasn't half black. He said he was something entirely else that I don't even think exists.
Oh, my God. This was such a great conversation. No, it really was.
No, yeah, I think we got a lot out here that people I think can listen and glean from. And it's just this overwhelming notion of you have to fucking work on yourself.
You just have to.
And that's such a redundant statement.
But it's so beautiful when you do, though. And you know what? The thing is, when you can look at yourself and be like, that bitch is beautiful.
Yeah.
She is hot. You know? Like, and whoever is with her is lucky to be with her. Like, you know, I used to play this thing where I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about relationships and I'm having all these problems. But I'm like, no, I know how to be in a good relationship. Yeah. I just don't like the dating part.
Yeah.
But I know how to be in a good relationship. I'm going to stop acting like I don't know. You understand? I'm going to stop acting like I'm such a problem and I'm such a problem to be with.
Yeah.
No,
we're not responsible for other people's shitty behavior. We're not responsible. You use the word vision. That's going to be stuck on me all day. Mm-hmm. We're not responsible for people who can't see the vision.
You can't see it.
They just need to move around and find vision or go die. I really don't. We don't care. Just not with us. You know what I mean?
Such a breakthrough, though, you know, and whoever's listening to this, whoever's listening to this, and if you're going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing or whatever, like, you're so wonderful and so amazing just being who you are. I mean, no, let me take that back. Being your best self, because we can't tell Ted Bundy to be himself, because look where that got him.
or just cheat on that man. Just cheat on him.
Cheat on him, dump him, whatever.
Give him bad advice.
So my thing is, just be your best
Be your best self.
Be your best self, because
Love
we all
yourself.
have inner demons, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just understand how to acknowledge it, work with it. Dude, seriously, like I did a reel earlier, you're aging, just age. That's
Yeah.
just part of life.
And
You know?
stop making excuses for your bullshit also. You know what I mean? Because you're going to keep getting the same variation of bullshit until you call a thing a thing. You know?
And they're all things.
And they're all
and
things.
we all got shit. Whoever says they don't got no shit is lying.
Yeah.
Even the hottest fucking person in the world got shit.
Yeah.
They got the most, probably.
Margot Robbie. No, I'm playing.
Kim Kardashian.
Callback joke.
But what else? Anything else you wanna
That's it.
say?
Just do better.
Just do better.
For
Acknowledge.
yourself.
Yeah.
Not for other people. Don't do it for other people. Don't try to be a healed version of yourself for somebody else.
No.
Heal for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heal for you. Took me a long time. Took 44 years to get to this point.
Yeah.
This is a very long. Don't be like Lynn. I fuck up so you don't have to.
Exactly.
I make the mistakes so you don't have to. So you just listen and hopefully learn to not do the shit that I did. Don't
Yeah.
go leaving notes on his car. Fuck that guy. He's not worth it.
Bust the windows in. No. I'm giving such gross advice at the end of these episodes. Kill him.
Ooh, I thought about it. I thought about spray painting this motherfucker's car. I was like, I'm gonna spray paint the fucking car. I'd be texting my friends. Honestly, if you knew me then, you would have gotten a text too. I had to text my friend like, "Are you awake? Because I need you to talk me off this ledge."
Yeah,
Because I'm about to fuck this mother.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm that friend with tinted windows. Take your license plate off the back of your car in the front, put on a ski mask, and pull up.
And you know what? Let me tell you, Ethan has saved a lot of lives. No, really, Ethan has not a lot of lives. Ethan has saved that guy. that one guy. He saved his life, because without Ethan, I would have found a shotgun. I would have found it. I would have been in. I would have risked everything.
Or I would have been
really.
handing it to you.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But I thought about Ethan, and I was like, oh. He's right there.
our
You saved a
boss.
lot of lives, kid.
You're basically a doctor. Save lives.
All right. But thank you so much for listening to this episode. This was a good one, and I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed recording it. Come back. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Thank you, Jalen.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.